Every day, thousands of things get broken down, and it's not a big deal. Sometimes it happens by accident, and sometimes because we're being careless. But we just say sorry about it and move on. But what if you break something that's almost priceless? Well, if you break something priceless, then you get a seat on our video. So here are 8 priceless art pieces broken by people around the world. The first incident we have is from the Watch and Clock Museum in Pennsylvania. There was an old couple at the museum, and they were having the time of their life. They were clicking pictures and having fun. Then they suddenly noticed a very old clock. They both got intrigued by it and went to check it, despite there being a sign saying, "Don't touch." They went ahead and still tried to touch it. As soon as the man touched the clock, it fell on the floor. They tried to pick it up and fix it, but they weren't able to. They even tried to hang it back in its place, but that was a disaster too. The museum administration shared this video on Twitter saying, "This is why we tell people not to touch things at the museum." I'm sure that couple was embarrassed after seeing their video on the internet. On number 2, we have the destruction of the last phonograph. Breaking things is one thing, but breaking a last remaining original thing, well, that's quite another. In a tech show, there was an expert that was talking about how the phonograph was a great invention and what were the benefits of phonographs. While he was just talking, suddenly the phonograph tube fell on the floor and broke. Now, this was not his fault. This happened because the tube was stored in a cold place for a long time, and the hands of the experts were shivering at the time when he held the tube. This was the last original tube, and it broke. On number 3, we have a sculpture that was in the Shanghai Museum. This sculpture was called Angel in Waiting and was made by Shelley Zhu. Once, 2 kids were playing near the sculpture and their parents were filming them. They were just little kids, and while they were playing, they just started touching the sculpture. Now, even after seeing this, the parents didn't stop them. While touching and playing with the sculpture, they started pulling the sculpture. The next thing that happened was obvious. The sculpture broke. Now, this one's not on the kids. I mean, they had no idea what they were doing, but their mother should have stopped them. And she didn't, and we all know what happened next. On number 4, we have the painting by Pablo Porpora. Once there was a boy who had just gone around with a glass in his hand in a museum, and suddenly he got tripped. To maintain his balance, he leaned into a painting. He saved himself, but his hands went through the painting. The painting was by Pablo Porpora, and it was valued at around $1.5 million. The painting now has a permanent hole in it, and it was caused because of a boy who isn't able to maintain his balance. Well, this is why you should watch out where you're going. Maybe you won't ruin a beautiful art piece. Next, on number 5, we have the destruction of street art. Now, you must be thinking street art isn't something that's legal, so why am I putting it on the list? Well, the answer is because it was from Banksy. He's one of the big names in the world of street art. His art is really popular, and he's good at it. Once a man came and vandalized a wall art that was made by Banksy. This art was a heart-shaped balloon with bandages on it, but this man came and drew over it. He did it in broad daylight, and many people recorded it. His motives were unclear. I mean, why would you destroy someone's work? On number 6, we have multiple art pieces. In 2017, there was an art exhibition in Los Angeles. There were many art pieces, and they were beautiful. But the way they were displayed was more tempting. Many people came to this exhibition, and many people were taking selfies. Now, a woman was also trying to take a selfie with the art pieces, and then she tripped and fell. She fell on a pillar that had an art piece placed on it, and due to the domino effect, the whole row fell. This was a huge loss. The total cost of these art pieces was $200,000. I guess it's not wise to take selfies everywhere. On number 7, we have the destruction of a sandcastle masterpiece. Once a sand artist created a sandcastle in 17 days. Well, it's a big deal to keep it stable for 17 days, let alone making it. This was big news, and many reporters came to make a story out of this particular sandcastle. Unfortunately, one female reporter went too close to the castle, and, yeah, you can guess what happened next. She fell on the castle, and one part of it was destroyed. Now, she tried to apologize about it. I mean, what can the artist have done now? He just said that it was all right. She did ask the artist that if there was anything she could do about it, she would. But he said there was nothing. And for the best interest of all, she was advised to leave him alone. On number 8, we have the destruction of $1 million vases. Now, you must be thinking how a vase could be this expensive. Well, the answer is that it was from ancient times and it was painted by a famous artist. During the exhibition in Miami, and in that exhibition, there was an artist named Maximo Caminro. He held the vase in his hand and then dropped it on the floor. This resulted in the destruction of the vase. He did that because he was a local artist, and he was upset as he claimed that the museum was just interested in the art pieces of the foreign artist. After this incident, he obviously got arrested. It was a childish act, obviously. So these were all the pieces that were broken by the mistake of people around the world, and sometimes deliberately. If you think of it, the people who did it deliberately were just people who were jealous of the artists. What are your thoughts about it? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as we'll keep on bringing out stuff like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.